So that's a bit of the roadmap. Now we'll get into the details. So chapter 4.2 on single qubit operations. And some of this should be a recap, but this is where we're sort of formally going to introduce it. And if you forgot, now is a good time to remember. Recall, of course, single qubit wave function, psi being alpha 0 plus beta 1, where alpha mod alpha squared plus mod beta squared is equal to 1. And then the second postulate, this is the first postulate, the second postulate tells us that time evolution, at least before we measure, is going to be unitary. So psi gets mapped to u psi, where u dagger u is equal to identity, which is to say u is a unitary matrix. And we've written down before the 4 Pauli matrices. Do you remember them? You must remember the Pauli matrices by the time you finish this course, and hopefully by now. So we have the identity matrix, we have Pauli X, Pauli Y, and Pauli Z. The identity matrix, hopefully you know. Pauli X is our quantum version of a bit flip, so as a 2x2 matrix. And the standard computational basis has this representation. Of course, I'm writing all of these in the standard computational basis. Pauli Z is 1, 0, 0, minus 1. And if you ever forget Pauli Y, you can always remember that it's equal to the product of I, X, Z. And as a matrix, that is 0 minus I, 0. So Pauli Y is a combination of a bit flip, the NOT gate, and a phase flip. So the Z being the phase gates. From this, we can also define rotation operators, which we are going to use a lot in quantum circuits. So all of these are going to be defined in the same way. And I'll start with Pauli X. We're going to have a rotation about the x-axis, so I'll indicate that by Pauli X. And it's going to take as a parameter some angle theta, a real number. And this is going to be defined as the exponential of minus I theta Pauli X over 2. So you have to evaluate a function of a matrix. You were asked to do this on the first quiz. Not many of you did it correctly, so I'll explain how to do it now. Remember, from the definition of evaluating the function of a matrix, you do it on its eigenvalues, right? So recall that if I want to perform a function f on a matrix A, you first have to do the eigen decomposition. So sum over I, lambda I, eigenvectors I, and then you apply the function f to the eigenvalues. Do you remember this definition? This was the trick, or the way to do the last problem on the first quiz. And that's formally how you would evaluate this. What you can show, and this is exercise 4.2 on page 175, which you'll do in a future homework assignment, that this actually works out to be the following. Cosine of theta over 2 times the identity matrix minus I, imaginary number I, sine theta over 2 times Pauli X. So just the theta over 2 being the argument of the cosine and the sine, of course, and then the Pauli X outside of that. So as a matrix, you could write out what this is from this expression now using the identity and Pauli X. And what it comes out to be is the following 2x2 matrix, cosine theta over 2 on the diagonal, and then minus I sine theta over 2 on the off diagonals. So this is going to be the same for the other Pauli matrices. We're going to have a rotation about the y-axis, Pauli y, and a rotation about the z-axis. It's always going to be this definition. So this is the one that I would encourage you to remember. And then it's always going to work out to be the same expression here, cosine theta over 2 identity minus I sine theta over 2 times whatever the matrix is. So I'll write that out for the other two. We'll have a rotation about the y-axis of an angle theta, still being defined as the exponential of minus I theta poly y now over 2. And when you work this out, which you will do on a homework assignment, you'll see that you get cosine theta over 2 identity minus I sine theta over 2 poly y. You could write that out as a matrix as well. I won't do it, but of course you should be able to. And then the last one you'll have is the z rotation, so a rotation about the z-axis by an angle theta. Again, always being defined in the same way, exponential of minus I theta, whatever the Pauli matrix is, divided by 2. And when you work this out, it comes out to be cosine theta over 2 identity minus I sine theta over 2 times whatever the Pauli matrix is. Maybe as a hint for the homework problem, the way to evaluate this is to use the Taylor series of the exponential. How many of you have seen Taylor series before? Everyone, great. So, and then you'll have to use a certain property of Pauli matrices. What property of Pauli matrices do we remember? This will be a good review. I'm willing to pause indefinitely here. All Pauli matrices are Hermitian, exactly right. So let me use, remember, I prefer just using this simple notation, capital letters, I, X, Y, Z. But since they share common properties, it's sometimes useful to have a notation to reflect that. So we could also call this sigma sub I for identity, or just sigma 0. We could call this sigma X, or sigma 1. We could call this sigma y, the same way, sigma 2, and then sigma z, sigma 3. So you'll see a lot of notation for the Pauli matrices. But with this, I could say that for each sigma I dagger is sigma I. So these are all Hermitian matrices, exactly right. What's another property about Pauli matrices that we remember? Exactly right. Pauli matrices are unitary. So this means that sigma I dagger is equal to sigma I inverse. And who could combine these two properties to make another statement? Maybe about a power of each Pauli matrix. They're Hermitian, absolutely. This one is a Hermitian one. What would happen if I multiplied any of the Pauli matrices by itself, took the square of a Pauli matrix? You get the identity. You could see that from these two, right? It's inverse is it's dagger is itself. So sigma I squared is equal to identity. Okay, of course, obvious for the identity matrix, but holds true for all of them. This is the property that's going to help you when you do the Taylor expansion, because you'll have even powers, 2, 4, 6. Those will all be identity. That's why the identity is popping out here. And then you'll have odd powers, 3, 5, 7, so on. And those will mostly be identity, right, when you factor out the even powers. But you'll have one more Pauli left, and so that's why this one pops out. Remember, the cosine goes with the even powers. The sine goes with the odd powers.